There is a former manager of an Equity Bank branch who has disappeared. Nobody, there are only 3 people who know where he is. The first person who knows where he is the Almighty God. Second person is the bank manager himself. And third, it is the abductors. Now, for a security expert like me, I'll remember what I was taught in South Sea CID training school. That if I were to investigate that case about his disappearance, I would only say 2 things. I am not a suspect because I know I was not there. And God is not a suspect because God has never done such a thing. So I treat everybody as a suspect. The disappearance of this manager could be anybody, could be detectives who have arrested him. It could be other gangsters. You know, when you know somebody has billions of shillings, I almost said millions. You know somebody with billions of shillings. You may try to harm him, or you may threaten, you may try to get something from him. Or who knows, even he himself may have hidden. Yes, we see pictures of police officers going to his parents' place. Unless somebody tells you everything and whatever, as of now, Afro cinema continues. That is the only thing I can say. Let me start by saying, okay, I've just remembered that the CEO of the bank, you know, they have several CEOs. The Dr. James Mwangi is the CEO for the group of company, but the CEO of the banking section of Equity has resigned. I think most likely he has resigned because of what people wanted Linturi to do. Linturi, you sold stones. No, you didn't sell stones, but people under you have brought on this. So take responsibilities. We are not saying that Linturi, you brought stones, but take political responsibility. So the resignation of the banking unit of Equity, the CEO, most likely has to do with him taking responsibilities. Now, what happens? I want to tell you that the chances of this person being found, the chances of this person being convicted, that is 2. 3, the chances of the whole amount or substantive amount recovered, take it take it to the bank. I don't expect 1 out of the 3 to happen, but if the 3 happens, all the 3 happens, well, that's well and good, because every money you get, you're supposed to get through your sweat, through the legal way. Now, what is happening here? Who is the complainant? Yes, I remember way back when I was attending my inspector's course, our law teacher was called Mr. Nyaseda. Mr. Nyaseda, you know him. He later rose to be the police boss, overall police boss. Mr. Nyaseda reasoned with us. There was a case, I'll tell you. But Mr. Nyaseda reasoned with us and told us that case isn't going to nowhere. And other cases have done that. Other cases have done that. I'll give examples. But let me start with the latest. You know what will happen? Equity is a bank. Equity is a bank that relies on public trust. Banks don't like publicity. They will look at the publicity because expect people to expect shareholders to withdraw. Expect shareholders, not shareholders, expect account holders to withdraw. expect the price of shares to go down for quite some times. The longer the case goes on, the shares in equity will go down. So what happens? It is 1.5 billion shillings. I can tell you, Dr. James Mwangi and a few others surrounding him, if they sit down, they can replace that money. Not even that. The Equity Bank has an insurance cover. It will just cover that and they close the topic. Because someone may say, ask why. You see, if the case goes full course, Equity may lose up to 4.5 billion shillings to recover 1.5. So what banking, what financial organizations do? They just close the case, count it as. I remember seeing somewhere, I don't know where, somebody was riding his bicycle in a mud road and he had milk. He was carrying a milk on his border and it fell and all the milk fell. So, Asara, that is what Equity will do and should do. And so it will just go that way. And then, after a few months, after a few years, this gentleman, this bank manager who escaped, will come back. The police cannot arrest him. Because when the police want to arrest him, Equity will say, you want to bring that bad publicity back. So at the expense of the bad publicity, this man will run away. Have we had such cases? Yes. We had, the first case I had was when I was a cadet officer training to be an inspector of police, and Mr. Nyaseda told us about a certain Mombasa case. Now, this Mombasa case, what happened was that some Congolese, by then they used to be called Zairoas, some Congolese had stolen money from the bank. When they stole money from the bank, they were arrested by a number of CID officers in Mombasa. One of them, yes, one of them is related to me and a close friend of mine, Koki, John Koki. He's related to me. Uh, he's an uncle to some of my kids. My kids are from his family. Now, John Koki and other CID officers in Mombasa 1987 arrested this Zairua, and it reached a place where these Zairuas accepted that they'll go get the money and share with the CID officers. They agreed that they share with the CID officers and the case will be thrown away. So what happened? They went to where they had hidden the money to remove the money. Some people say I laugh. Sasa unataka nilie? This is what happened. Once the Zairoas had given out the money, they were told, now kimbieni, nikifungua macho muwe mumeenda. The Zairoas started running. You know what was in the papers the following day? These people had cheated the CID officers that they knew where they had hidden the money. And when the CID officers took them there to look for the money, they ran away. Kumbe, they had not hidden the money there. The case went on. Those are the years 1988, 89. You see, all the CID officers were charged with murder. Then when they were charged with murder, it happened that letters started coming. Doctors later started coming, claiming that one is having HIV/AIDS. And you know those days, nowadays you meet a lot of people. In fact, that you can tell somebody, unamwona huyu ako na HIV. Says, yeah. No, those days. Anyway, those days. So a letter just comes to the court. This man has been, a letter just comes to the court that this man has HIV/AIDS. And then it is said, okay, since it is a doctor's letter, let him go home. And it ended that way. And all of them, the cases, they resumed work. They resumed work. The second case is, I think the man was called Omondi or somebody. Omondi. Omondi stealing money at the airport. He took the money to the airport, then disappeared. It was money from a bank and it was being taken away in foreign currencies. He disappeared for so many years, a few years. Then he came back. He came back. He was arrested. He was even placed in the pictures. He was in. I remember him being in the police Land Rover. Those days, Land Cruisers had not started. And the press people and everybody was asking him, uliiba hizo mamilioni? Anasema sikuiba. Kwa nini wanakusingizia? He says, no, mimi nilipewa pesa nikapelekea wenyewe. Mkitaka pesa mpeleke kwenyewe. That is how the story ended. And recently, we had this case about so much money which was stolen in. I think this one I'm saying I've recorded it. Money was stolen, and then it just disappeared that way. A place called Kataka. Kataka is near Cooperative University and near Ongata Rongai. Money, 10% of that money was gotten, and nobody. I don't know. Maybe I'm not aware of the case, so I can say nobody has been arrested, isn't it? Although I usually joke to people, and I even joked in the tape that I recorded that hizo pesa mlipeleka pahali pabaya, because it is 10% ya walizoiba. Hii ilikuwa ni fungu la 10 la mapasta, isn't it? So what I'm trying to say in brief, because I've talked a lot for 12 minutes, what I want to tell you is that the equity money, nobody will be arrested, nobody will do whatever. Those people, that person maybe he abducted himself. Sorry, kizungu ilikuja na meli. He abducted himself, or the CID have abducted him and they want him to share the money the way it happened to the Zairans in Mombasa. Anything can happen, but one thing that definitely will happen, the case is going nowhere. Mtazungushwa. Kwani pesa sorry, I wanted to say ile maneno mbaya. Kwani pesa ni what who was this who was telling the minister Aden Duale was telling a governor, kwani pesa ni ya blah blah blah. Thank you.